He doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards.
I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag.
In honor of the 4th of July, why don't we just have these dudes duke it out street beef style? This isn't my usual breakdown content, but on Independence Day, I thought I'd take a brief deep dive into who would win in a fight between our two geriatric presidential candidates, Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Now, both have some advantages and disadvantages, so let's use science to make an educated prediction on who would win should we be blessed with this presidential tussle. The first advantage I want to bring up is our boy Donnie J's hip movement. Now, despite my best efforts, I couldn't find any footage of him and Stormy, so we'll have to settle with his golf swing. All right, so really clear footage of Trump's golf swing here. We're going to see a lot of things that I think will potentially help him out should he fight Joe Biden. So we're just going to pause the top of his swing here. And like a lot of really good strikers in the MMA, and even just whenever we talk about athleticism in the combat sports, we can see that immediate shift of the center of mass and the weight to his other foot. We see this whenever people are throwing kicks, whenever they're throwing punches. We can imagine, now this isn't a right hook, but we can imagine that if Donald Trump were to really get his hips and shift that weight and bring his shoulders around in a really good right hook, Joe Biden's open mouth might have a hard time dealing with that. So as he shows us his pretty good lumbo-pelvic control, even though it's the body built by McDonald's here, a lot of subcutaneous and visceral fat. We won't hold that against him for now. But when he gets that hip angle facing forward, you can tell that dissociation of the hips and the shoulders, which is highly regarded as one of the characteristics of pretty good athleticism, the ability to control the lumbo-pelvic region in your thoracic spine. As he brings his hips forward, he uses that torque that he's developed, makes contact with the ball. Very good. I think Joe Biden's going to have an issue here, okay? So let's just watch it one more time, all the way through. Imagine that's a right hook. It's going to be a problem. So we've clearly got advantage Trump whenever it comes to coordination, since Joe Biden seems unable to coordinate everyday movements like turning and walking. On the other hand, Joe Biden has a clear advantage, especially when it comes to cardiovascular health. Let's take a look at some footage demonstrating this. So we're going to start with some footage that we've all have come to know and love here. This is the infamous Biden falling off the bike incident. But what I want you to know, or what I want you to really pay attention to, is that this was posted 2 years ago. Okay, so we can see that they've probably ridden a long way. He's taking care of his cardiovascular health, right? This guy 2 years ago is riding a bike in the community. As he gets up close before the infamous scene, he's looking nice and lean. Dude looks relatively good, okay, compared to Trump's body, which we talked about earlier. And then I'll just, we all want to see this, right? Super embarrassing, all right? But that was 2 years ago. Now, we all know that it takes people a long time to develop good cardiovascular health. It's not something that we just get overnight. You have to really dedicate yourself to it. And I want to give credit where credit is due, because this is 11 months ago and Biden is still biking, man. He's still on the bike. He looks relatively solid. Now it is downhill, but he's pedaling. Pretty impressive for him to be able to raise his hand and wave while he's riding a bike. We know he's not very good at double tasking or dual tasking, we call it in PT. All that to show that he's actually putting in the effort, and he could probably last a couple more rounds if Trump doesn't finish him in the first round. So they seem pretty evenly split in two different categories. So here's how I imagine this potentially playing out. On one hand, I can actually see Donald Trump buying into conspiracies that Joe Biden is actually dead and that someone else is in his body. Now, if Trump thinks that person is a woman, when the fight starts, he might just go up and grab him by the pussy, which would be an obvious disqualification. I can also see a world where Joe Biden chokes on a random bug that flew into his mouth, since he seems unable to close it even when he's at rest. And even if he was choking, probably wouldn't have the motor function to let anybody know. But let's just say Biden did win. Trump would run to his phone faster than he did to ask for Georgia to find more votes, and tweet to his followers to incite an insurrection, rebellion, something to try to overturn the decision. And if Trump won, all it takes for Biden is one call to his criminal and drug-riddled son. Hunter Biden has some not-so-straight shooting connections that'll gladly do what needs to be done. This also assumes he'll be able to find a flip phone, since a smartphone is likely to advance for him, and that he'd be able to articulate anything that happened remotely intelligibly. Let me know who you guys think would win, because I can't decide. I also don't care about any of your political opinions, but I'm sure you'll argue about them in the comments anyways. Happy 4th of July, everyone, and remember, ultimately nobody cares what you think, so you may as well take the day, go be happy with your friends and family. I'd also like to thank my wife for the video idea. I can't take credit for this, so all praise and criticism should be directed towards her. In all seriousness, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.